We all know and love the insane cars that came out of the Group B rally era, but an equally thrilling series that doesn't seem to get much love these days is Group A. Group A rally hit its peak in the mid 1990s with legends like the Lancer Evo 6, Celica GT4, and the GC8 Impreza WRX. These cars are more closely based on their homologated counterparts, but that didn't stop them from being absolute demons on a rally stage. By the mid-90s, thanks to improved handling and traction, they consistently beat out their Group B rivals despite having lower horsepower figures. Today, I want to give some love to the art of Group A rally by building my own regulation car and automation. Then I want to challenge BeamNG's rally game mode to see how insane Group A cars feel from the driver's seat. Before we get into things, I think it's time for a lesson about the regulations these cars are built around. Group A cars were put into classifications from A5 to A8, primarily based on engine size and weight. For this video, we'll focus on the most popular of the classes, A8. This was the class with the largest engine displacements, permitting manufacturers to use 2-liter turbocharged engines like the ones seen in the WRX and Evo. Additionally, for 4-wheel drive cars, they had to exceed a minimum weight of 1,100 kilograms or just over 2,400 pounds. And there are a plethora of other rules based off the required 2,500 homologation spec cars, but we'll get more into those when we get to the build. For now, let's try and find a similar spec car in BeamNG to set our benchmark on the rally stage. After many suggestions since the last video, that I urge you to watch after this one, I decided to test the Pessima Rally. The Pessima is a mid-90s car with a 2-liter turbo engine and with a few modifications, serves as the perfect Group A counterpart in BeamNG. Alright, pretty decent launch there. Now the stage we're on is covering the American East Coast map. Decided to go with this one because it's primarily a mixed stage, a lot of dirt and gravel sections. In my last video, we covered a full tarmac stage. While rally drivers do drive a lot on tarmac, it's just not what I think of when I think of rally. I chose the intro clips I did because they're doing big skids on dirt, and that's what I want to do. I'm sure that's what you guys want to see. So that's what we're doing here. Full throttle over dirt, constantly feeling like you're going to end up in the back of a tree. That's rally to me. Okay, a little bit of damage in the rear there. Nothing too bad. Just a bit of understeer. That's just part of the car being front-wheel drive. A little too hard on the throttle sometimes. No worries. Helps just use the handbrake to turn a lot. Fortunately, the stage is pretty quick. Seeing a lot of 6 left, 6 rights. I feel like when it comes to dirt stages, it's usually the slow stuff that catches me off. I always miss my braking points, end up in a wall or a tree. But the quick stuff, pretty nice. Gotta be one to listen to those pace notes. Oh boy, I stalled it. Well, I guess maybe this first lap isn't going to be about getting a time, it's just going to be about getting a feel. Because the Pessima, I assume, is BeamNG's Group A car. It's the only one of the rally cars that I found that's actually from the 90s. And again, we're testing mid-90s Group A cars. It also, has a sequential, a lot of things that didn't come up in rally until the mid-90s. And ultimately, it handles pretty great on both surfaces. I feel like I remember in the description it was set up for gravel stages. Almost thought it was right there. Oh wow, that's. Is it still drivable? Hold on, no, I just keep stalling it. Come on, girl, get up the hill. Drive. Oh, it still has it. I know it does. Oh yeah, she's good. A little rough around the edges, but it's fine. I can just imagine oh my god. I have a feeling the corner was that way. Okay, we'll pick up from here. Alright, so we're picking up a little early. but I saved some time by not throwing the car into a barrier immediately. And so we'll get a feel for how this car drives without damage, because, you know, hopefully that's how it is for our automation car. Don't also bin that into a tree immediately. Really, even if lap time's not our big goal here, we're also just trying to compare how these cars drive. I'm pretty sure in the description, Pessima here was set up for gravel stages, so it should be handling pretty well in the dirt, and it is. Acceleration's pretty good, handling's pretty good. One of the drawbacks of this being pretty much the only Group A car in BeamNG is that it's front-wheel drive, and we don't, get to compare four-wheel drive cars, or at least not four-wheel drive cars from the 90s. And so, it being dirt stage, being able to use the handbrake to get the car to rotate really makes up for some of the limitations of front-wheel drive. I feel like this is where I bend it last time. I just gotta remember, caution here. Big caution here. Jumped it over the last 2 times I've tried this. Yeah, lap time should be pretty good now that I haven't crashed 3 times over. And when it comes to acceleration, I'm fairly certain this car also makes 300 horsepower. And I say also because pretty much all of the big Group A cars of the 90s made right around 300 horsepower. With the restrictor plates they had to put on their turbos, I believe by the late 90s they were about 34mm restrictor plates. But it's pretty hard for these cars to get more than 300 something horsepower. So that's probably going to be the number we're aiming for in automation. I want to be too unrealistic.
Flat left, 50, 1 right short.
Also got to make sure the springs are a little soft just so we can handle all these crazy bumps. It's very much a bumpy circuit. It's just, part of dirt stage, I guess. I feel like we should be coming up in the end here soon. I don't know. This is actually my first time getting this far on a stage, on this stage. Really shows you how important a recon lap is, because I really have to tone down how aggressive I'm driving just because I don't know what's going on. If I didn't have pace notes here, I'd be lost. Yeah, these bumps are terrible. Oh my gosh. If you have motion sickness, this would probably suck. One right, don't cut. Yep. I just realized don't cut means like don't drive over the apex. I've always taken that as don't pull the handbrake. Not really sure why. But ultimately, this car drives great, and I'm really interested to see if we can build a better car in automation. So let's move on. Actually, before we move on, we got to go over our time. A 4:12.4. Honestly, I think it's a pretty solid time. I was pretty hesitant on a lot of corners, but I think if I sent it with all these bumps and just the nature of dirt stages, I would have ended up in a tree, as you saw in the first attempt. So again, let's get into automation and make sure we build a car according to the regulations of Group A and see if we can get a sub 410. Considering the engine regulations are some of the strictest rules in the Group A rulebook, that's where this build is starting. We're going to go with the tried and tested 2-liter inline 4, and I always tend to keep a shallow stroke just to help the engine rev higher. Rally engines are constantly on the limiter, so we're going to bulletproof it with forged internals. I generally have no idea how to tune a turbo, but the goal is just for it to spool pretty low in the rev range. Ending up with something around 3400 shouldn't be too bad. Finally, we're going to come back and tune the engine to handle forced induction. That means lowering compression to a more reasonable level, and raising the red line to a solid 7800 RPM. Ending off with peak horsepower at just over 300 is exactly where we want it to be, so we'll move on to the car. To match the Pessima, we're going to give it a 6-speed sequential with a top speed near 160 miles an hour. Additionally, Group A specifications allow for a limited slip diff, so let's add one. Most Group A cars of the era ran 16-inch diameter wheels with 7 to 8-inch wide tires for gravel stages, so we're going to match that. And Group A is pretty open with whatever tire compound teams show up with, so we'll just add Automation's rally compound. Group A required suspension to be sprung, and any active suspension or four-wheel steering systems were banned, so we'll leave everything else passive. And then with rally cars, I tend to just tune them like sports cars with softer springs and a higher ride height. To aid the force induction and presence of all the dust and dirt, we're going to fill the front end with vents. And if you've ever noticed rally cars with a vent or two on the roof, it's actually required to add some sort of ventilation for the cabin. So let's go ahead and put some of those on. Taillights are going to be a classic 90s design that matches the very rectangular rear end. Then I want to finish off the rear with a very WRX looking wing. I've also always loved the look of aero discs, so the wheels will kind of match that aesthetic. And then another requirement for gravel stages is the addition of mud flaps. Let's go ahead and throw some of those on. Finally, for the interior, a few requirements under the Group A regulations are a 4 to 6 point harness, so we'll add some seats to accommodate one. We'll also need flame retardant and a roll cage. After all is said and done, this is how the car ended up looking. I figured the last thing a rally car absolutely needed was a livery. Only issue is, this one has no sponsors. So let's go ahead and just get it out on a stage and see what it feels like to drive a Group A rally car. Alright, as I say for most of these videos, I don't have a lot of time under my belt in this car. Aside from that last little demo shot, I pretty much have no idea what this thing's capable of. So this will also just be a test of how well I can make a car in automation, because there have been no further adjustments made. Let's see what this thing's capable of.
The first note is over crest, 100.
Sounds pretty good.
2, 1, go, over crest.
Oh, and it hooks up immediately.
Caution.
Okay, this thing is fast.
Cut, 200.
Hold on, slow down, slow down. Oh my goodness.
1 right.
I don't know if it's just the fact that it's all-wheel drive or if the tire compound is really good.
4 right.
This thing just grips so well.
Over crest, 30.
Doesn't seem to perform poorly over dirt either.
6 right. 70.
Oh, that's gonna be a big jump. Oh no.
Short, over crest, 70.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you gotta be careful with this thing. As much as I want to go full throttle,
Crest,
can't do it.
flat left, don't cut, into 6 right, 70.
This car is just one of those things that make you feel like an absolute hero when you drive it.
70. Square left, don't cut. Into 3 right, 30. 2 right, don't cut. Into 3 left long, opens. Over crest, 150.
And I mean, in comparison to the Pessima just felt so much more tame compared to this thing.
Flat right, 60.
Feels like if you drive this thing wrong, it will try and kill you. Pessima did not have that.
And 6 right, long
Coming up in this little narrow section here, let's see how it
over crest.
handles.
50. 5 left short, narrows, 30. 6 right, 70. 3 right short, 40. Flat left, 80. Caution.
Take it pretty quick.
6 right long tightens. To 1 left.
6 right long. I always kind of overshoot this a little bit.
4 right, 80.
Yeah, and our lap time should be improved just because I've had a little bit more familiarity with
6
this
right,
stage.
30. 5 left, 40.
Also, I've noticed the gearing on this
3 right long
set up really well.
Don't cut.
As soon as you upshift, you're right back at the top of the rev range.
Narrows, Bombay, 80. Caution. 6 right short, narrows, over crest, 30.
It's handling bumps pretty well too.
Right, don't cut, 40. 5 right,
Oh,
Bombay,
hard landing though.
4 right, over crest, 30. Caution. 3 left.
Kind of at the point where I'm forgetting where I'm at again.
Narrows,
Yeah,
70.
I've died here a few times. I remember this place.
Over crest, 40. 1 left, narrows, over bump, 4 right, 30. 4 left, 90.
Honestly, if it seems like I'm not talking much, it's because this thing takes a lot of concentration. One of those things about Beam Rally is if you mess up, you are in a tree. Like your car folds in on itself.
100. 2 left.
Makes you a little scared.
100.
Oh man. Alright, it's rally. Still going. Like nothing ever happened.
Square right, don't cut.
This rock completely broke my steering there. That's not good.
Flat left, 50. One right
I'll
short.
see if I can finish this lap and it's still quicker than Pessima, then this thing is just a menace.
Three right short.
Oh, I forget where I'm at. Where are we? What is this?
Four left, 50. Caution. Flat left extra long. Opens. 80.
Oh yeah, this thing does not want to go left.
Bomb B. And flat left. 40. 5 right. Bomb B. And 3 left. And flat left. Over jump. Into 5
Yeah, I
right.
gotta say,
Narrows.
bumps are still
90.
horrific on this part of the stage, but it's handling them pretty well. I feel like the Pessima was a lot more difficult to get on the throttle and on the brakes in that
60.
section.
5 left.
And over the finish.
Stop at stop control.
I'll probably redo that, but if this is still faster than a 410, then this thing is a great car. And it's a sub 4 minute. Okay. I mean, look at this thing. My front right wheel is completely smashed off its geometry. Car rolled over. I mean, this is what a Group A car is supposed to feel like. I'm certain of it. Ignoring some of the faults of this car, like the messed up livery and the design, I feel like driving this car over jumps and through narrow dirt stages really replicates the way I've always imagined a rally car from this era drives. With a clean lap and a more ballsy driver, I'm sure this car could put up some crazy fast lap times on a rally stage. But hey, if you've watched this far, I hope you'd like and subscribe. Tune in for the next one.